Are you tired of checking your bank account with that familiar knot of fear in your stomach? Has the endless cycle of financial worry become your daily companion, even as you silently pray for abundance? Stay with me, because tonight's meditation journey might just transform how you experience wealth forever. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. What if I told you that your financial struggles aren't because you're unlucky, unworthy, or working too little? The truth that most people never discover is that you were designed for overflow. Yes, you were literally created to experience abundance as your natural state. Has this ever happened to you? You work harder, save more, follow all the right financial advice, yet somehow money continues to slip through your fingers like water? That's because we've been conditioned to view money through the wrong lens entirely. Money isn't controlled by the economy, the stock market, or even your job title. These are simply outer manifestations of a deeper truth. Money flows according to divine law. When you experience lack or limitation, it's not because you're forgotten or forsaken. It's because you're out of alignment with these spiritual frequencies that govern increase. Think about it for a moment. What if your relationship with money isn't about external circumstances at all, but about your internal vibration? What if the words you speak, the thoughts you think, and the emotions you carry are actually programming your financial reality in ways you've never realized? Tonight, as you drift into deep, restorative sleep, I'll guide you through the sacred principles that shift your entire financial foundation. You'll discover how to speak wealth into being, how to align your vibration with abundance, and how to become a magnetic channel for divine supply. What you're about to discover might surprise you, challenging everything you thought you knew about how money works. The real journey begins when you understand that God, not your job, not the government, not even your own efforts, is your true source. When you align with this infinite source through specific practices and declarations, the vaults of heaven begin to swing open. Not someday in the distant future, not after your next promotion. Now, as we move deeper into this meditation, you'll learn why most people remain trapped in financial anxiety despite their best efforts, and the simple yet profound shift that reveals the hidden truth about why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others struggle despite working twice as hard. Your financial situation isn't responding to your effort, it's responding to your vibration. This revelation transforms everything we've been taught about money. You can work 80-hour weeks, pursue multiple side hustles, and follow every financial strategy under the sun. But if your vibrational frequency is misaligned with abundance, you'll remain locked in the same patterns. You simply cannot outwork misalignment or outrun contradiction. If these prosperity principles resonated with your soul, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Each meditation becomes another thread in the tapestry of abundance we're weaving together. Join our community of conscious creators by clicking subscribe now. Think of your relationship with money as a radio frequency. If you're tuned to the station of lack, no amount of effort will let you hear the broadcast of abundance. Your inner dialogue, your emotional responses to money, and the words you speak create a specific frequency, and that frequency either attracts or repels wealth. This mindset shift represents the fundamental journey from struggle to flow. When you align with the spiritual frequencies that govern increase, opportunities find you, resources open to you, and money flows toward you in ways that often seem miraculous to those still operating under the old paradigm. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformative understanding. Have you ever considered that you are, in essence, a spiritual bank? Every single word you speak about money is either a deposit or a withdrawal from your abundance account. The casual complaints about bills, the offhand jokes about being broke, the anxious sighs when checking your account balance, these aren't just harmless comments. They're actual withdrawals from your spiritual treasury. Likewise, your thoughts aren't neutral observers of your financial reality. They're generating either interest earned or interest lost. When you worry about money, you're compounding lack. When you expect increase, you're accumulating abundance. This isn't metaphorical. It's the literal mechanism behind manifestation. The profound impact of this understanding cannot be overstated. Most people spend their entire lives making spiritual withdrawals while wondering why their financial accounts never grow. They speak lack while praying for abundance. They think scarcity while affirming prosperity. And this contradiction freezes their financial energy in place. The 7 divine laws I'm about to reveal aren't simply good advice or helpful suggestions. They are the actual codes that open the vault of divine supply. When applied with consistency and faith, these principles create a complete revolution in how money responds to you. Just as a bank, vault requires the correct combination to open. Your financial abundance requires these specific codes. Behind the scenes of material reality exists a spiritual economy governed by immutable laws. These laws respond with perfect precision to your vibration. They don't care about your background, your education, or your current circumstances. They care only about your alignment, your belief, and your declaration. The journey from financial anxiety to abundant flow begins with understanding that your word is the currency of creation. Every sentence you speak is creating molds in the invisible realm, and into those molds, divine substance is being poured. The shape of those molds, whether formed by fear or faith, determines what manifests in your visible world. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to align my vibration with wealth," if you're committed to this transformational journey of financial rebirth. Let's continue exploring how these divine laws can completely reorganize your financial reality and begin to see how profound this shift in understanding truly is. Let's challenge one of the most common misconceptions about money, that it's somehow inherently good or evil. This deeply ingrained belief has caused countless people to develop toxic relationships with wealth. The revelation that changes everything is this: money is neither moral nor immoral. It is simply obedient to vibration. Like gravity that pulls without judgment, like fire that burns regardless of who touches. Divine law fulfills itself consistently without playing favorites. This understanding represents a complete mindset transformation. If your financial life has been marked by instability, unpredictability, or constant struggle, recognize that this isn't a punishment or bad luck. It's simply a perfect reflection, a mirror, of the frequencies you've spoken, thought, and believed. Your financial reality is giving you a precise report card of your dominant vibrations around money. When you truly grasp this principle, you'll never view your bank account the same way again. The balance isn't just a number, it's feedback on your vibrational offering. Every financial pattern in your life, whether feast or famine, is showing you with perfect clarity what frequencies you've been emitting. And here's the extraordinary truth behind the scenes. The moment you change your vibration, your financial reality must change in response. Not because you've manipulated circumstances, but because you've aligned with the immutable laws that govern all manifestation. Now, I want to go even deeper into this journey of financial awakening. Money isn't some distant force that you need to chase, convince, or beg for attention. The hidden truth that most prosperity teachers miss is that money isn't waiting to love you. It's waiting to be commanded by you. This distinction represents the crossroads between those who struggle financially and those who live in overflow. When you approach money with need, with emotional desperation, or with uncertainty, you're not speaking the language it understands. Money responds to the order of one who stands in truth, one who speaks with clarity, conviction, and spiritual authority. The universe is listening constantly to your vibration around wealth, waiting for a clear command it can fulfill. Think of divine mind as the ultimate fulfillment center. It holds unlimited abundance, infinite supply, and boundless prosperity. But it operates with perfect precision. It releases substance into alignment, not into confusion. It pours wealth into clarity, not into contradiction. It responds to command, not to complaint. This revelation transforms your entire approach to financial abundance. You are not a beggar hoping for crumbs from the universe's table. You are a divine channel through which abundance naturally flows when you stand in the vibration of truth, when you speak with authority rather than anxiety, when you command rather than plead. The very fabric of your financial reality begins to reorganize itself. Don't let this moment of alignment be the last. Subscribe to this channel to continue your journey into divine prosperity. Each video serves as a powerful reminder of the wealth consciousness you're cultivating. Click subscribe to ensure these teachings remain part of your spiritual practice. The journey from financial frustration to abundant flow requires this fundamental shift in identity. You must move from seeing yourself as someone who chases money to someone who channels it, from someone who works for money to someone who commands it through vibrational alignment. Most people spend their lives looking at empty bank accounts and speaking words of lack, then wondering why the universe keeps reflecting that same emptiness back to them. But the impact of standing in your divine authority and speaking with clarity is that money can no longer ignore you. It must respond to your command when that command is aligned with spiritual law. If you recognize that you've been speaking the language of lack while hoping for abundance, type, "I now command wealth with clarity," in the comments below. Let's continue exploring how your relationship with money transforms when you move from fear to command, and begin to recognize the profound difference between chasing wealth and commanding it through divine law. Many believe that wealth is random, a matter of luck, timing, or cleverness. We've been conditioned to think that some people are simply destined for abundance, while others must struggle. But this perspective misses the fundamental truth. Wealth is not random, it's not capricious, and it's certainly not reserved for a select few. Wealth is revealed, yes, revealed, to those who obey spiritual principles. This revelation transforms your entire financial journey. Behind the scenes of every wealthy person is not merely a clever strategy or fortunate circumstances, but alignment, conscious or unconscious, with divine laws that govern prosperity. When you understand this, everything shifts. The hustle culture, the endless formulas, the complex financial strategies, they all fall into their proper place as tools rather than foundations. Without being rooted in divine law, even the most brilliant financial strategy becomes like leaves in the wind. You might experience temporary success, but sustainable abundance requires spiritual alignment. This is why we see so many who achieve wealth, only to lose it, or those who appear to have it all, yet live in constant fear of losing everything. Their wealth isn't anchored in law, it's built on the shifting sands of circumstance. The impact of this understanding liberates you from the exhausting cycle of constantly chasing the next financial strategy or opportunity. Instead, you focus first on aligning with the unchanging principles that govern all material manifestation. From this alignment, the right strategies, opportunities, and pathways naturally emerge. Now, I want to go even deeper into the mindset transformation required to fully embrace this truth. One of the most insidious beliefs that keeps people locked in financial struggle is the idea that poverty is somehow more spiritual than prosperity, that there's nobility in lack and virtue in struggle. This false teaching has kept countless souls from claiming their divine inheritance. Let's turn to Scripture for clarity. In 3 John 1:2 we read, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth." Notice the powerful revelation here. Prosperity is explicitly named as a divine desire. Not just spiritual prosperity, but material prosperity as well. The Scripture connects our soul's prosperity with our external prosperity, revealing that they are meant to flow together, not oppose each other. This hidden truth dismantles the belief that poverty is pious or that scarcity is somehow sacred. If we truly believe that God is our source, that divine mind is infinitely abundant, how could lack ever be the divine plan for our lives? The journey to financial freedom requires healing this fundamental misconception that has kept so many locked in unnecessary limitation. Your breakthrough begins when you fully embrace that prosperity is not a spiritual compromise. It's a spiritual covenant. When you accept this truth, the guilt that has blocked your abundance dissolves. The fear that receiving more might somehow make you less spiritual transforms into the understanding that your prosperity is part of your purpose. Consider for a moment how much more you could give, serve, and impact others from a place of overflow rather than lack. True generosity flows from abundance, not from depletion. The universe is not honored by your struggle. It is honored when you step into the fullness of what has been divinely prepared for you. This decision point represents the crossroads where many turn back. They hear these truths, feel their power, yet cling to the familiar comfort of limitation because it's what they've known. But for those who choose to move forward, who embrace that divine desire, includes their material well-being, an entirely new dimension of possibility opens before them. The spiritual foundation for prosperity isn't about accumulating for ego's sake. It's about allowing the natural flow of divine abundance to move through you unobstructed by fear, guilt, or limiting beliefs. When your soul prospers through alignment with truth, your external world must eventually reflect that inner prosperity. If you're ready to release the false belief that poverty is somehow more spiritual than prosperity, type "abundance is my divine birthright" in the comments. Let's continue exploring how this shift in consciousness creates the foundation for lasting wealth, and see how these fundamental shifts in consciousness begin to transform your entire relationship with abundance. When we truly understand that wealth is our divine birthright, we must then grasp the vehicle through which this birthright is claimed, the power of our spoken word. This revelation illuminates the pathway between your current financial reality and the prosperity that awaits you. When your soul begins to prosper through spoken word, obedience, and expectation, something miraculous happens. Money and opportunity begin to obey you, like waves obey the moon. This is not metaphorical language. It's a description of the actual mechanism through which manifestation occurs. Your words are not merely expressions of thought. They are creative forces that shape the substance of your reality. The universe doesn't respond to what you want or need. It responds to what you declare with conviction and authority. This understanding represents a profound awakening to your creative power. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is a shift in declaration. Long before the visible evidence appears, someone spoke a new reality into being. They refused to let their mouth agree with lack, limitation, or delay. Instead, they aligned their speech with the abundance they desired to see, and they held that alignment until the physical world reorganized itself to match their word. This awakening to the creative power of speech transforms your entire approach to manifestation. Most people speak reactively. They simply report what they see in their bank accounts, describe their financial struggles, and unconsciously reinforce the very conditions they wish to change. But those who walk in prosperity speak creatively. They declare what must be, regardless of current appearances. Now, I want to go even deeper into the foundational system that governs all financial manifestation. I'm about to reveal 7 divine laws that will completely revolutionize your relationship with money. But before I do, I must emphasize something crucial. These laws are not tools to be casually implemented. They are frequencies to be embodied. This distinction represents the decisive moment in your journey from financial struggle to abundant flow. Most people approach spiritual principles as techniques to try, something external to apply to their problems. But this mindset keeps you forever separate from the very abundance you seek. You don't dabble in frequency, you become it. These 7 laws are your divine inheritance, the spiritual blueprint coded into your very DNA. They aren't foreign concepts to be learned, but forgotten truths to be remembered. When you align with these laws, you're not adopting something new. You're returning to your original design as a being meant to live in overflow. The transformation occurs when you realize that activating these laws requires 3 essential elements: your mouth, your identity, and your obedience. Your mouth speaks the laws into motion. Your identity determines what level of abundance you can contain, and your obedience, your consistent alignment with these principles, determines how powerfully they manifest in your life. Most remain trapped in financial limitation because they approach these laws intellectually rather than vibrationally. They understand the principles but fail to become them. It's like studying the theory of swimming without ever entering the water. Knowledge without embodiment creates the illusion of progress without actual movement. The journey from intellectual understanding to vibrational embodiment requires a fundamental decision. Will you merely observe these laws from a distance, or will you allow them to rewire your entire being? Will you remain a student of prosperity principles, or will you become a living demonstration of them? This revelation marks the threshold between those who continue to struggle financially despite their knowledge and those who enter the flow of effortless abundance. When you fully embody these frequencies, you don't have to chase money. It chases you. You don't have to manipulate circumstances. They naturally align with your vibration. If you're ready to move beyond merely knowing about these laws to actually becoming them, type "I am the embodiment of divine prosperity" in the comments. Now let's explore the first of these 7 transformative laws that will completely recalibrate your financial reality, and discover how the first of these 7 divine laws transforms your entire financial reality from the inside out. The first law, the fundamental cornerstone upon which all financial transformation rests, is the law of the word. This revelation illuminates the hidden mechanics behind why some people remain stuck in scarcity, while others effortlessly attract abundance. Every single word you speak creates a mold, a spiritual template into which divine substance is poured. This isn't metaphorical language. It's the literal description of how creation operates. Consider this profound truth. If your words are consistently shaped by fear, doubt, and anxiety about money, then the divine substance of your life naturally takes the form of scarcity. Conversely, when your words are shaped by faith, certainty, and expectation, that same divine substance manifests as abundant supply. The difference isn't in how much divine substance is available to you. It's in the molds you're creating through your everyday speech. This awakening represents a complete paradigm shift in how you approach your financial reality. Most people don't realize that casual comments, like "I can't afford that," or "money just slips through my fingers," are actually spiritual blueprints being submitted to the universe for manifestation. These aren't harmless observations. They're creative instructions that the law must fulfill. The spiritual world operates with exact precision. It listens constantly to the vibration of your words, and what it hears, it multiplies without questioning. When you sigh, "I'm always behind," the law responds, "So it is." When you casually mention, "I can't afford it," the law says, "Let it be done." When you joke, "I'm broke again," the law confirms, "As you have spoken." Now I want to go even deeper into the mindset transformation required to harness this law. Your voice must become a vessel of increase, not a thermometer merely reporting current conditions. This distinction marks the decisive turning point in your financial journey. Most people use their words to describe what they see: their empty bank accounts, their mounting bills, their financial challenges. But those who master prosperity use their words to create what they desire to see. The revelation that changes everything is this: your mouth was never designed to be a passive reporter of circumstances. It was designed to be an active creator of reality. When you treat your voice like a thermometer, simply reflecting the financial temperature around you, you remain trapped in the cycle of mirroring your current conditions. But when you use your voice as a thermostat, setting the temperature you desire, your external reality must eventually adjust to match your declaration. Every word you speak is a financial seed planted in the soil of divine mind. These seeds don't remain dormant. They grow into the very experiences and circumstances you'll encounter tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year. The financial challenges you're facing today are simply the harvest of seeds you planted previously, often unconsciously, through your habitual speech patterns. This understanding invites a profound decision. Will you continue echoing your bank account, or will you begin rewriting it with your words? Will you speak from reaction to what you see, or from creation of what you desire? The journey from financial frustration to abundant flow requires this fundamental shift in how you use your voice. Behind the scenes of every financial miracle is someone who refused to let their mouth agree with lack. They stopped treating their voice like a news reporter and started using it like a commander. They didn't wait until they saw change to speak differently. They spoke differently until they saw change. This is the revelation that transforms casual speech into spiritual power. If you're ready to stop using your mouth to report your financial temperature and start using it to set the financial temperature, write, "My words create my wealth," in the comments below. Let's continue exploring how speaking with divine authority fundamentally transforms your relationship with money, and begin to recognize how your relationship with the flow of money fundamentally shapes your financial destiny. Now we arrive at the second divine law that governs all financial abundance, the law of circulation. This revelation disrupts everything we've been conditioned to believe about money. Most people approach their finances with a mindset of scarcity, holding tight, clutching every dollar, and fearing the moment of release. But the hidden truth that transforms everything is this: money is meant to move. It is not designed to be hoarded, gripped, feared, or buried. Money is spirit in motion, and like all divine energy, it expands when released in faith. This principle mirrors the natural world perfectly. Consider the transformation that occurs in a pond when fresh water flows both in and out. It remains clear, vibrant, and life-giving. But what happens to a pond when water only flows in, but never out? It becomes stagnant, toxic, and eventually unable to support life. Your financial life operates by this same principle. When you circulate with joy, confidence, and generous expectation, the law rushes to replace and multiply what you've released. The profound awakening occurs when you realize that your tight grip on money isn't protecting your supply. It's actually restricting it. When you contract in fear, when you hold money with anxiety rather than faith, you're teaching the universe that you don't trust it to return. And divine law does not multiply in an atmosphere of suspicion or contraction. It multiplies in flow, in rhythm, in spoken word confidence. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is someone who dared to release in faith rather than clutch in fear. They discovered that control is not the same as wisdom, and what they labeled as being careful was actually just hoarding rooted in distrust. The journey from financial anxiety to abundant flow requires this fundamental shift in how you handle the release of money. Now I want to go even deeper into the spiritual mechanics that govern this circulation. When you release money, whether through giving, investing, or purchasing, you're not just engaging in a material transaction. You're participating in a spiritual cycle of energy. But here's the revelation that changes everything. The energy doesn't automatically return multiplied unless you activate the loop through declaration. This insight reveals why many people give, spend, and invest without experiencing the promised return. They release money, but they do so in silence, without commanding the harvest, without declaring the multiplication, without sealing the transaction with spiritual authority. It's like planting seeds without watering them, then wondering why nothing grows. When you release money with declaration, with a specific, faith-filled statement of expected return, you activate a completely different level of circulation. You're no longer just spending or giving. You're sowing with intention and commanding the harvest. Every dollar you release should be accompanied by the powerful declaration, "Every dollar I release returns to me, multiplied under grace in perfect ways." This declaration isn't magical thinking. It's aligning yourself with divine law. You're not giving to lose, but to increase. You're not spending to deplete, but to activate the cycle of return. You're not circulating from fear, but from the unshakable confidence of a divine steward who understands the spiritual economy. The transformation in your financial life begins when you refuse to release another dollar without speaking over it. Whether you're paying bills, making a purchase, giving to charity, or investing, pause before that transaction and declare its return. Assign it a vibration. Make every financial exchange a testimony of divine law in action. This practice represents the decisive crossroads between those who experience money